Jenna. Madam President, it's 7 o'clock. All the individuals have been brought into the meeting from the Zoom call.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. At 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting of the City of Tonawanda Council to order. Please call the roll.
Volanich,
Here.
Nocera,
Here.
Rautenstrau,
Here.
Milo,
Here.
Cook.
Here. At this time, I'd like to call up representatives from Troop 92 out of East Amherst to lead us in the pledge. Come forward.
Jesus to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Please remain standing.
Let us begin tonight in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord God in heaven, we are so blessed again to live in this community, the land of the free. Tonight we honor two individuals, one who gave his life defending that freedom and is just so proud of his background, and another who defended this city for 40 years and is continuing. And Lord God, we just ask your blessings for good health on both of them. And Lord, as Jenna conducts this meeting tonight, give her the wisdom and the knowledge. Give this council the wisdom and the knowledge to make the right decisions for this city. And bless our mayor as he conducts all the business of our city. And the department heads, police chief, fire chief, DPW, we ask your blessings upon them as they carry out their daily activities for our city. And Lord, bless us in Jesus' name. We ask this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
I think you may be seated. At this time, I'd like to turn this over to the mayor to present his Veteran of the Month.
Great. This is my pleasure to do this each month. I really enjoy it. Tonight we are going to honor Richard William Weber. Born and raised in the city of Tonawanda, Richard William Weber enlisted in his Navy on June 1st, 1945, serving as a first-class seaman from June 1st, 45 to August 17th, 46. During that time, he served and took them to the areas such as China, Shanghai, Hawaii, the Asian Pacific Theater on the oil tanker USS Fairchild. Seaman First Class Weber was awarded the following medals for his service in the Asian Pacific area. The Victory Medal commemorates military service in World War II. American Campaign Medal, service in World War II within the American Theater and Operation. Following his service with the United States Navy, Richard opened up and operated Weber's Automotive, which was on Fletcher and Franklin in the city of Tonawanda for 58 years, and served on the board of directors of the American Legion, post 264, for many years. Mr. Weber was also a staple in the block of the Milton Street with his beautiful in-ground pool. It is my pleasure to award this month to Richard William Weber.
Thank you so much. Okay. Next, I'd like to call up Captain Fred Foles. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Hello, Captain.
I'd like also Assemblyman William Conrad to come forward, please. And Mayor, Assemblyman,
Sure, I have the floor.
you have the floor.
Oh, wow. Anyway, Policeman Fred, as we know, so affectionately know him in the city of Tonawanda. We hear there's a 40-year anniversary celebration here of service. And that's 2 police careers, from what I understand, with retirement. But in all honesty, Officer Captain Frederick Poles has been an awesome contributor to this community. And I've got a lot of whereas for you in the citation, but I want to point out one particular line that's my favorite. As Captain Poles is known for his institutional knowledge, his unrivaled law enforcement expertise, and his characteristic graciousness, sincerity, humility, and therefore, on my behalf and that of the New York State Assembly, congratulations on 40 years. Very much. Thank you. Please had in front of my cousins, big senators. Great to see you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
All right, next we're gonna do one, you know what, Fred and I, we went to school together, class of 75, right? But it's kind of interesting. I'm gonna read this only because it's got a lot of history in it. We had a party for him, which he didn't know about. It was very nice. We had a nice group in the back room there. And one of the people said that Fred came with the building. So I'm not gonna say who said that. You know where it came from.
Yes.
The celebration of Captain Poles' 40-year anniversary, whereas on September 16, 1982, hired by Chief James Oldenburg, Frederick Poles began his career as a police officer for the City of Tonawanda Police Department. And whereas on March 30, 1998, Officer Frederick Poles was promoted to lieutenant, leading the midnight shift for several years before becoming a reckless lieutenant. And whereas on December 6, 2013, Lieutenant Frederick Poles was promoted to captain of the patrol division in the City of Tonawanda Police Department, where he continued to serve. And whereas Captain Frederick Poles is the recipient of the Tonawanda Police Department highest award, a nomination of valor for his actions on May 26, 2020. And whereas the City of Tonawanda is a safer place to live because of Fred, because of his attitude, because of professionalism, and whereas now, therefore, it may be resolved that I, John White, Mayor of the City of Tonawanda, hereby proudly proclaim Tuesday, September 20, 2022, as Frederick Poles Day.
I have one more, Captain.
Okay.
Our Erie County Legislator, John Barnese, could not be here this evening, so he has asked me to present this on his behalf. And similar to the Assemblyman, there's a lot of whereases. But whereas the role of the police department in our community is to maintain and improve the quality of life for our residents and those who visit our community. And whereas Captain Poles, a Tonawanda High School class of 1975 alumni, was hired on September 16th, 1982. And whereas he formed a positive rapport and a healthy working relationship with the City of Tonawanda community and remains a positive role model for his colleagues. And whereas he is the recipient of the department's highest award, which for his actions on May 26th of 2020. Whereas for 40 years, Captain Poles devoted himself to providing the City of Tonawanda with a sense of safety, reassurance, and who is without question the epitome of what a police officer should be. Whereas this honorable body desires to acknowledge and recognize individuals such as Captain Poles who enhance, represent, and create change in our community through public service for the City of Tonawanda Police Department. Now, therefore, be it resolved, it is with great honor that the Erie County Legislature congratulates Captain Poles on a phenomenal career and commends him on remaining a dedicated and passionate member of his community in the City of Tonawanda as he celebrates 40 years of service with the City of Tonawanda Police Department. Congratulations.
Thank you.
If I may.
Of course.
This job is, there's a lot of ups and downs and highs and lows in police work, but, after all these years, you know, I still enjoy coming to work. And, one of the more satisfying things that I have is, coming to work each day and working with professional people. And that's what our department's all about. It's a department full of professionals. And it starts at the top. And it starts with Chief Strasburg, a true professional, a true friend. It transcends right down to our whole department, all our lieutenants, detectives, Captain Butcher, myself, patrol officers, our civilians support staff. It starts with Chief Strasburg and works right down. And that's why it's a real satisfying every day coming into work. I truly enjoy it. Contrary to Facebook over the weekend, it wasn't a retirement. You know, I was getting these phone calls on Saturday. Oh, you retired? Retired? I'm not on Facebook, but I usually know everything that's going on in the department, and I know everything that's going on in the city every day. And Chief Strasburg, I don't know how he did it. He kept that on the wraps, and I had no clue when I walked in Friday morning. All this was taking place. I really didn't. So he did a good job of keeping it on the QT, and I did not know. And again, I'd like to thank on Friday Mayor White and his team, Administrative Assistant Stewart, Secretary Judy Kursworth. It was nice. The certificate of recognition, I really appreciate that, but I had no clue walking in Friday that this was all going to take place. I just thought it was just going to be a normal day, get through the day, and so I was truly surprised and humbled and appreciative, and I really love our department, and more importantly, I love our city. So thanks again for everybody for these awards. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And Captain, thank you for not calling off on Friday. That was very, very nice. And thank you to our administrative assistant for going to pick up the citation from the Erie County legislator. All right, at this time, I'd like the city clerk to please read the notice of the public hearing.
Thank you, Madam President. Today, the notice of public hearing, September 20th, 2022. Hearing time is at 7 p.m. at the Tonawanda City Hall, Common Council Chambers, 200 Niagara Street, Tonawanda, New York. Applicant is Mustafa Tanbakuchi of 2182 West Oakfield Drive in Grand Island, New York. And the property description is 69 Delaware Street, Tonawanda Castle, located in Tonawanda, New York, 14150. And the SBL number is 39.54-4-19. The rezoning request to rezone the property located at Tonawanda Delaware Street, Tonawanda Castle, currently zoned RC residential restricted business to zoning classification C2 Central Retail District. The purpose of the rezoning is to allow for the property to be a mixed-use building for commercial and retail space.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. At this time, we will now be conducting the public hearing. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so, and the clerk will call upon you. I'd like to recognize that the applicant is in our audience today. So if there are any questions, we can have the applicant respond as well. I'd like the record to indicate that we did receive a response from a resident, and I'm just going to ask the city clerk to read that response.
Thank you, Madam President. One Letter was received on September 19th, 2022 from Lori Wainwright of 16 Benton Street. She indicates, I do not object to having a business in the old National Guard building. I do object to semi-truck use on Benton Street. Our street was not designed to handle such heavy vehicles, and it is already in poor condition, sinkholes, potholes, etc. Therefore, I vote no.
Are there any comments or questions on the rezoning request? For those that are joining us in person, please approach the microphone. For those that are joining us virtually, there's a spot for you to raise your hand. Any comments or questions on the rezoning request? Mr. Clerk, is there anyone who's joining us virtually who wishes to make a comment on the public hearing on the rezoning request?
Madam President, at this time, there are no comments related to the rezoning request.
Okay. Last call, any comments or questions on the rezoning request for 69 Delaware Street? Okay, I hereby declare the public hearing closed. Communications from the mayor have been ordered and filed. Communications from city officials and correspondents have also been ordered and filed. The council is not going into executive session. At this time, we'll now take comments on the resolutions. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. For those that are joining us in person, please approach the microphone. Mr. Clerk, anyone who's joining us virtually wish to address the council on the resolutions?
Madam President, at this time, I do not show anyone has any comments on the resolutions.
If anyone would like to comment on the resolutions, please approach the microphone. We have a comment on the floor, Mr. Clerk.
Hello, my name is Mustafa Tamakuchi. I'm the owner of the 69 Delaware Street. I'd just like to give you a little bit of background of who I am and what I'm trying to do. I'm by the trade, I'm an engineer, graduate from UB, and my wife, she's from North Carolina. Even I met her in Utah. She came in here to do, and she practiced physician as a physician under Suzanne Myers for many years. And I have 2 children, both are grow up in Tonawanda and actually Grand Islands. In 2003, I decided to purchase the Tonawanda Castle. At that time, from the National Guard Armory. At that time, nobody was interested to take over that building. As a matter of fact, that building was offered to community from 1986 to 1996. After 10 years, community returned it back to National Guard or New York State because they didn't want it. The building was sitting empty from 1996 to 2003. Then it ran into the public auction. At that time, we again wanted it, purchased it for $71,000. It took me 7.5 years to bring it into what it used to be in 1890s. And then, of course, we started it, decided to keep it as a banquet hall so the community can enjoy the beauty of that building. Theoretically, I shouldn't really own that historical building. However, in March of 2020, when the COVID hit us, that was the first year we were going to make money. They shut us down. And of course, the building has been sitting empty from March of 2020 until now. And I could not carry that building empty. Of course, I decided I own a 27 Main Street in North Tonawanda as in my furniture business. And I did try to sell that building to anybody, nobody even give me an offer for $1. So I decided, made a decision, I should sell my 27 Main Street building and move my business to Tonawanda Castle. Again, historically, I've been a good citizen to my community. I purchased Delaware, 112 Delaware. At the time when I purchased it, it was only 1,000 square foot of that building was occupied. Now that building, all the 23,000 square foot is being rented. I purchased 68 Delaware Street. It used to be drug house. Now is a family live there, fix it up. I purchased 92 Delaware Street, which is nobody wanted it. Again, now it's a beautiful building, and the same thing is, please give me a chance to move into that property. Otherwise, that building, if it's empty, it's gonna, all the effort of putting is gonna go down.
Thank you so very much for your comments. All right, any other comments on the resolutions? Okay. Mr. Clerk, let's roll.
Thank you.
Resolution number 1 by Councilmember Rautenstrau.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nocera.
Resolved that the common council minutes from September 6, 2022 be accepted as filed.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Lulanich,
Aye.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 2 by Councilmember Mylum.
Do we have a second? Second by Mrs. Lalonich.
Resolved that the bills be allowed as audited.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Lulanich,
Aye.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 3 by Councilmember Lulanich.
Do we have a second?
I'd like to second, Madam President.
Seconded by Mr. Rounstrau.
Whereas a special events application was received by the city clerk from the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 77 for their chicken barbecue to be held in the city parking lot next to 200 Niagara Street. And whereas the application was reviewed and commented on by all appropriate department heads to ensure the safety and well-being of our residents. And whereas all details of the above named event must be coordinated with Captain Fred Foles and Amanda Loft, Director of Parks and Recreation, and the event chairperson. Now therefore it be resolved that permission is granted to the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 77 to hold a chicken barbecue in the city parking lot next to 200 Niagara Street on October 2nd, 2022, from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And resolved that a certificate of insurance naming the City of Tonawanda as additionally insured be filed with the city clerk no later than September 26, 2022.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Lulanich,
Aye.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 4 by the council, seconded by the council. Whereas Mustafa Tanbakuchi, owner of 69 Delaware Street, Tonawanda Castle, requested the rezoning of said property from RC Residential Restricted Business District to C2 Central Business District on July 8, 2022. And whereas the planning board met on September 13th and recommended to the common council to approve the rezoning of 69 Delaware Street. And whereas a public hearing on the request was held on September 20th, 2022, after required notice was sent to property owners within 250 feet of said property. Now therefore it be resolved that the request of said rezoning is approved.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Lalanich,
Aye.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 5 by Councilmember Nocera.
Do we have a second? I'll second.
Whereas the city has a service contract with Davis Ulmer Fire Protection to maintain and repair the water motor gongs in our wet and dry fire system. And whereas the city was advised by Davis Ulmer that the city no longer needs the water motor gongs in our wet and dry fire system. Now therefore be it resolved that the common council approves the removal of the water motor gongs inspection and repairs from the contract with Davis Ulmer Fire Protection effective immediately.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Lalanich,
Aye.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 6 by the council, seconded by the council. Resolved that the city of Tonawanda Common Council authorizes and directs Mayor John White to execute the customer project commitment with the New York Power Authority for streetlight maintenance over a 2-year period at a cost not to exceed $172,788.10. Funding fiscal impact is $172,788.10 over the 2-year period.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Lalanich,
Aye.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 7 by Councilmember Rautenstrau.
I'll second.
Whereas the Citizen Science Community Resources carries out soil testing in the city and town of Tonawanda through our Healthy Soils, Healthy Gardens, and Healthy Communities program. And whereas the city has pledged last year to donate a total of $5,000 over 2 years to the group. Now therefore be resolved that the city will donate $2,500 to Citizen Science Community Resources in 2022 and 2023. And be it further resolved that the funds be directed to their community victory garden as per your agenda.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Lalanich,
Aye.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 8 by Councilmember Nocera.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, Madam President.
Second by Mr. Rautenstrau.
Resolved that the award of the Young Street Corridor Improvement Change Order number 4 be made to Scott Lawnyard, Inc. at a cost not to exceed $37,538.77. Funding fiscal impact as per your agenda.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Lalanich,
Aye.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 9 by Councilmember Nocera.
Do we have a second? I'll second.
Resolved that the award construction phases services amendment number 2 for the Young Street corridor be made to DiDonato and Associates Engineers and Architecture, PC, at a cost not to exceed $5,520. Funding fiscal impact as per your agenda.
Comments or questions?
Madam President.
Mr. Rounstrau?
I do want to make a comment on this, after we talked about this, in the informal. Just in good conscience, I feel like, some of us might have been on the edge or on the fence a little bit with this. I do want to just at least comment before we vote on this, that if we approve this, and they do find that, it's feasible to put this in, it opens up several more steps. I think if it's approved, we're going to be at a point where we're committed to move forward with it. And if we're under a time constraint, I'm just concerned that we're going to meet that and be able to close out this project. I think this project has merit. I think it's a great idea. I just think that there might be some other options that might work better. So I just want to make those comments. I don't like to, leave a vote against a resolution out there without comment. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rounstrau. Any other comments?
The time that we have to prove what the study will show us, if it's feasible for the side curtains, if the structure will even hold those, is still unknown. And then we would have to approve what they would bring us as for a price. And then they would have to go back, obtain a supplier for that. And then we would only have until the end of the year to pay for them and have them installed in order for us to use the smart growth funds. So realistically, is it the possibility? Is it possible still? It's tight. And I was wondering if since we have to use the smart growth funds by the end of the year, and we were told that there's no other funding that would possibly be available to do that adjustment or the change of that structure. The other question I would have is, if that structure currently could not accept the wind load, as you explained it, for those side curtains, could that structure be structurally enhanced to beef it up so that it could? And what would the engineering?
So Mr. Lamonaco's.
Yeah.
First,
Yeah, that's something I definitely wanted to make clear. You can make structural modifications so that it would be able to hold the curtains. But I just want to make sure everybody understands that's not included in this $5,000. That's strictly them running the analysis. But it looks like we've got some of the connections that fall within that factor of safety that kind of preclude us from moving forward. We would then have to design structural modifications to the existing structure as a separate cost before we went ahead and then put the sidewalls on.
How comfortable are you with the timeline?
Like I mentioned back in there, it is very tight.
And if we order everything and get everything done and paid for by the end of the year, we're okay with the smart funds. If we don't, it's on who to pay for
Yeah, if the grant has to be closed out by the end of the year, and there are costs that overrun beyond that time, the city would be responsible.
them. Is there a possibility that the grant could be extended to allow us this grace period for
There is a
that?
possibility. You've already had one extension on it. I don't know if you're aware of before you started actually, but the street lights were a long lead item. They got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, or they're supposed to be delivered in March. We thought we were going to be closed out easily in the spring. As we stand here today, they're still Friday. Street lights are supposed to they were shipped out last Friday. They're supposed to arrive this last Friday in DPW. So it's been months and months and months of delays on various pieces of materials and equipment into the site. So, and I don't know, standing here, if that's going to be the same thing with the canvas walls. I would hope not. It shouldn't be as long a lead time, but I can't answer that for sure.
Worst case scenario, we spend the smart growth money and we don't get these because of the timeline is too tight.
Yes.
Is this money just sitting there waiting to be spent, or would this money be
Yeah.
used for something else?
It's part of a $2.5 million grant that we got. We're kind of like at the end of it. I mean, I can't even guarantee you that there wouldn't be an overrun. We should be able to afford it all based on the budgetary pricing that we have. But again, there's still a lot of questions. We're kind of at the start of looking at this retrofit or not. But basically what happens is we had $2.5 million in a pot for this project. That's the whole Young Street Corridor project. So we're kind of at the very end of this thing now. We have limited money left. So I guess the way I kind of want everybody to think about it is, you know, if you're not interested in putting the walls on the project, it doesn't make sense to spend 5,000. If you are interested in doing it, then we should move forward and at least explore it. Worst case scenario that happens is, even if, let's say we don't get to the construction stage of this, where we just get to the point where we've done a structural analysis, good or bad. If it's good, great. If it's bad, we can then go ahead and do the design to see what modifications need to be made in the structure. And then somewhere down the line, we can add the sides. So if you're interested in doing sides, it makes sense to vote it. If you're not interested in sides, it doesn't make sense to vote for this. It's then we're just spending money to spend money.
Thank you.
Wasn't the structural, I don't know, design of this originally to accommodate the sides, and then they took it out, the structural
Yeah.
supports for that, and that was taken out of the original project. And now we want to find out if we can put them up and then maybe retrofit back to the original project.
Yes.
But why were they taken out? Was it
So-
because the building,
It was aesthetics, right?
From conceptual, the initial conceptual plan for this project had closed gable ends that were gonna have these roll down plastic curtains all around it, so it could be closed down, you can put like a torpedo heater and maybe extend the use of it into the shoulder seats. During the course of design, we made aesthetic decisions to have an open gable, so you can look down, if you're looking at it from Young Street, you can see the trusses. That would all be blocked off. It would look like a regular standard park pavilion where you just got the wood coming down. Once that was open, and then there was another decision made on the trusses to take the bottom quarter of the truss and have that arch shape, which I wasn't for initially, and now that I see it, I think it looks really good. But once those decisions were made, now you have an open end. At that point, it didn't make sense to have a wall, so they were kind of dropped at that point. So now we're revisiting it. There's new sets of eyes on the project, and we're looking at possibly putting walls on the side that can protect, you know, some wind mitigation, not a lot, but rain and things like that, they're coming in from the side when we stop. There's definitely pros and cons. There's definitely, I don't think anyone can say that it's, you know, all great and it's going to be wonderful, or it's going to be all terrible. There are downsides to doing it, downsides to not doing it. So really, it kind of, you guys have to make that decision on how we want to proceed with it.
Mr. Lamonaco, how long do you anticipate that it'll take the assessment to be completed?
Should be done within a couple of weeks.
Any other comments or questions?
I have one more question.
Sure.
I'm sorry. The curtains, would they be a permanent piece of the structure? So it's not something that would be taken down seasonally. They would always be there and ready to come down.
No, and then there's, again, pros and cons, right? So, you know, we talk about some of the pros, you'd have some weather shielding and things like that, and potentially make it more usable. The downsides are, and this was also discussed during the previous design, is there are aesthetic concerns. You've got roll-up walls that are there. And you're gonna have some anchors that are possibly going to the beams, they have to be anchored somehow, so. They're always gonna be there, they're not gonna, it's not gonna be something where we're taking them up and putting them down. And you know, they aren't. But we all know what we're talking about, right? We're talking about roll down campus walls.
Yeah.
They aren't,
Like a Roman shade I would put on my porch.
you know what I mean, they're not the brick walls of the structure, so when they get damaged, they have to be replaced.
But they would be accessible to the public in the most sensitive way possible with some issues that we've been having there. That could be something that could be used to make it more welcoming for trouble at night and people adding privacy to that area as well.
For anybody who's using it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
So you're extending the season at the beginning and at the end, just a few weeks here.
I mean, when I say setting the season, at the end of the day, it's all up to how tolerant people are at their events. So, for example, I know the next upcoming event, I think is October 19th. You know, 15. October 15th, if you've got walls on the side, is that gonna mean that we're gonna have the event? If we don't have, we're not gonna have the event? I can't answer that question. You know, individual tolerances for taking part in events that are outdoors are kind of different for everybody.
I think the only experience we have recent memory is Green Beer Sunday, when we had what was left of the construction fence and we added some tarps, and that pretty much was a buffer from the west wind.
Right.
But folks that party there on New Year's Eve in 10-degree weather with no. Also rain.
Any other comments?
No.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Lulanich,
Nay.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Nay.
Mylum,
Nay.
Cook,
I declare the resolution defeated.
resolution number 10 by the council, seconded by the council. Resolved that John White, as mayor of the city of Tonawanda, is hereby authorized and directed to file a downtown revitalization initiative application for funds in accordance with the endorsement standards set forth by New York State Regional Economic Development Councils, and upon approval of said requests, to enter into and execute a project agreement with the state for such financial assistance to the city of Tonawanda for the proposed 2022 Downtown Revitalization Initiative Program.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Lulanich,
Aye.
Nocera,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public on or following the resolutions. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so, and the clerk will call upon you. For those that are joining us in person, please approach the microphone. Mr. Clerk, we have a comment on the floor.
Yeah, can I talk about the issue here?
Yes,
Oh,
of
okay.
course.
I just wasn't sure. Name is Jack Knack, Kanack. I'm from 84 South Meadow Drive in North Tonawanda. The reason I'm calling you, as I'm talking today, is that in our neighborhood, following the canal, Erie Barge Canal on Sweeney Street, that's the area I'm in. There's an industrial noise coming from the city of Tonawanda in the industrial park. The noise is a very low noise that goes through the brick. You can't escape it. You hear it in your basement. It's a pulsating noise, and then it has the pulsating stops and you get some harmonics and then pulsating. Okay. I personally, other neighbors personally have walked the bike path along the Erie Barge Canal. Following the noise, we all believe it's from Washington Mills in the city of Tonawanda. Being in North Tonawanda, Niagara County, they have no jurisdiction. Erie County, the city of Tonawanda has jurisdiction. I also have been in contact with John Hood. He's the Erie County compliance specialist in the environment planning. I've been talking with him. We just like to get the noise stopped. I personally have to sleep with earplugs. Other neighbors, the only way they could sleep is with their television blaring at night. The noise is day and night. It's worse when it's clear and calm. Wind kind of dampers the noise. Also, in my direction, I'm in the prevailing wind, so if the wind's coming from the east, the noise is much less. So my question is, what's the city of Tonawanda doing about it?
Well, thank you for your comment. We will certainly forward that over to the mayor as well as our engineer to take a look at that. If after we adjourn, if I can have a phone number, will somebody get in touch with you?
The other thing I'm trying to find out is if from the city of Tonawanda, if you have permits for industry there that noise abatement, they have a noise abatement permit that started July 18th of this year. It's always off during either Friday, it stops at 1:30 in the afternoon, or sometimes Saturday. It's always off on Sunday, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday. It's definitely industrial. I'm trying to find out if there's either new equipment being placed somewhere, if a wall was taken down, if there's something wrong with baffles. There's something going on there that has to be addressed, because the North Tonawanda residents on my side are just getting blown out.
Sir, did this just start happening?
July 18th
Oh,
of this year.
Thank
So before July 18th, it was, like it is here. Just
face
normal.
recognition.
And like I said, it's all the noise. I'm half a mile away from the plant. But if I was a Swedish reporter, if I go a half a mile inland, like my street goes north-south, go half a mile away from the canal, it's like, what noise? It just follows along the canal, but it's like a lake effect where the width isn't very long, but the length is very long. People have heard it all the way from like the service drive boat ramps, I don't know where that is, all the way to Clare. So it's like a mile and a quarter down, but it's very narrow. So if you can find the source of it, it would be great.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you so
We
much.
will absolutely look into that, and one of us will get in touch with you.
Thank
Okay.
you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just stick around for.
I will.
Any other comments? Mr. Clerk, anyone joining us virtually? Have any questions or comments?
Madam President, at this time, I do not show anyone in the Zoom call looking to make any comments at this time.
All right, Mr. Nocera?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to start off with thanking Richard Weber for his service and thanking his family who did stop by to receive that honor from the mayor this month. Attended the Day of Play Saturday over at Betts Park. Very well attended, very well organized. The kids certainly had a good time, but there was obviously a lot of adults who were enjoying themselves as well over there. And coming up this Saturday is Fall Fest. And I know that they'll be looking for some volunteers to help them out with that for a very good cause. I will be there stirring the chowder pots again. It's good exercise for my arms and my core. So I'll be doing that for a couple hours again this year. Madam President, is the city treasurer here? I have a question on board still. Did he leave?
Mr. Treasurer, are you joining us virtually? Mr. Clerk, is the treasurer present virtually?
Yes.
Okay.
He's just muted at this time.
Okay. Well, if he can,
Uh,
Mr. Reese, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Reese, I'm looking for the spreadsheet for the solar projects that we currently have under contract. We were looking for those earlier. I had sent you some written communication on that, and you indicated to me that the spreadsheet was on your list of items to do. We do realize as a council how busy you are because it is budget time. But I was wondering if you would have a closer date on when we would be able to see those spreadsheets on the solar project to find out if we are losing money, we're breaking even, or we are making money on those particular projects.
I mean, there are no spreadsheets, so obviously I have to make them from
Yes, sir.
whole cloth here. That is gonna be a while, and there's with staffing and everything else going on, I don't know. I have to get all the bills. We have to sit down, sort through, and try to figure out what even makes sense on a spreadsheet. We looked at the power costs. We already know that the cost of the solar farms is slightly less than our power rate. That's one thing we'll be showing on there and the possible usage, but to design and prepare that spreadsheet is gonna take a while, and it's just right now is not the time with the new staff I have in the office and the budget, so. Do I have a closer estimate? I do not.
Okay, I would just asking that question because it seems, you know, that we've been asking for it for a while and we've never seen one yet. As to where we
Again, there never
stand.
has been one. And there isn't really a design. So I have to kind of try to decide what exactly the spreadsheet should look like and then prepare it. But you know, you say we, I think you're the only person that's asked for it. But I will try to get it together. It's just a lot of work that's going to be involved in with the staffing and the new staff and the budget. It's not the best time.
I may be currently the only one on the council who's been asking for it, but there have been some citizens that are also asking and wondering as well how those solar projects are.
Yeah, I
serving the
mean,
city.
I don't think the spreadsheet's going to show anything we don't already know. It's
Okay,
not
Well.
something we wanted to do, and no one's ever claimed that it made sense. But I'll. It's on the list when we actually have time to
It
breathe.
never
and I
made
get
sense.
my
We haven't
staff
seen
trained
any
up,
yet
we'll
to
get
make
to
it.
So.
thank you very much.
Anything else, Mr. Rosario?
No.
Mrs. Lonich? Nothing. Thank you, Mrs. Lonich. Mr. Rounstrau.
Thank you, Madam President. One, I'd like to start out, just thank you to Richard Weber for your service and to your family for being here. Secondly, congrats to Captain Foles on your 40 years. It's really a commendable amount of service. It's much appreciated to all of us. You know, I'd like to add to Councilman Nocera's comments in regards to the day of play. Unfortunately, I had unexpected circumstances come up this week and I wasn't able to make it. But I know what's gone into it, the planning that's gone on to make this happen, and for the second year in a row. From what I saw on Facebook and from what I've heard, it was a very successful event. And I can't say how happy I am to hear that happening. You know, there's many members of the COT, Neighbors United, that are part of this. But I want to specifically recognize Lindsay Jelski. You know, she puts a lot of work into this. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and a labor of love for her to make this happen. And I just want to say congratulations to her for making this happen and all the work from all the members of the COT Neighbors United. Just really a great job. Secondly, I want to also congratulate Brett Zuckerman and his family. I stopped by this weekend. I was able to make that and pop in at the Ice Skate Jam. You know, it's great to see that in use and populated. I make kids go there a lot. I bring them there to kind of move around on it, but it was great to see it in use by a lot of people and some bands there and some vendors. And it's great to see the amount of support they got there. I look forward to seeing some more events there. He had mentioned that he's looking forward to putting a couple more of these together. So I wish him good luck, and it's great to see that going on. Really, that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rounstrau. Mr. Mylan?
Yeah, just very quickly, I'd like to thank the Weber family for their the service from their family. That was a very difficult time in our history. My grandfather served at that same time in the Navy. I wonder if their paths ever crossed. Be interesting to find out, but thank him and his family for their sacrifices. And I'd also like to thank Captain Foles for his as well. I think almost as long as I've been around, Captain Foles has been on a police officer. So even as a kid, we knew of Captain Foles or Officer Foles when I was a kid. So congratulations to your time, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Mylan. Mayor?
Madam President, thank you. Congratulations to our September Veteran of the Month, Richard Weber and his family for coming. We appreciate that, everything you do. My dad was in the Navy. My brother was in the Navy. My father-in-law was in the Navy. So my heart was out to you for all you did for the country. 40 years, Fred, congratulations. We love you, Fred. Unbelievable. Congrats to the Union Fire Department, Local 859, 75 years. We had the dinner on Friday of last week, and it was great to see about 60 people came down to the Ronald J. Pelosi Pavilion. It was really nice to see the union down there celebrating, and all the old firemen came too. It was kind of neat. It's good to see everybody. And kudos to COT United. Went to the play date up at the Veterans Park. A lot of kids, a lot of fun. And as Carl said, the adults had just as much fun. It was kind of neat seeing the rockets go off. So my hats go off to them. It's a good thing and like to see it continue. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank the Troop 92 for coming out this evening and leading us in prayer. We certainly appreciate you being in attendance tonight. I'm glad to see we didn't put you to sleep. So thanks for joining us. I'd like to thank Mr. Weber for his service and his family for coming out this evening. I actually know the Webers and well-rounded, great family. So well-deserved recognition. A special thank you to our Erie County Legislator, John Barnese, Assemblyman Bill Conrad, for their certificates and citations that they had presented to Captain Foles this evening, and for coming to our meeting tonight. And thank you to Sharon Stewart for the last minute call to pick up that citation. You know, Captain Foles, truly, he's an amazing individual. We're so blessed to have him be a part of our community for so long. I know there were some rumblings of a potential retirement, but he still has a lot of years left in our community, and we're so lucky to have him. I know it's been set up here, but congratulations to COT Neighbors United for a great second annual day of play. I know the mayor and I spoke this evening, and we'll be inviting COT Neighbors United to come to an upcoming council meeting to recognize them. So stay tuned for that. Councilman Nocera had mentioned about Fall Fest, so stop on out for that. And for those that don't know, the mayor, the city treasurer, all the department heads, they're working really hard, administrative assistant, on preparing a budget. The mayor will present to the council and the city a proposed budget, which we will get October 1st. That budget will be made available online. I would encourage the residents to take a look at that and reach out to us with any feedback on that. But it's going to be a busy October for the council while we review the mayor's proposed budget. So more to come on that. And obviously we'll have a public hearing on that as well. So please take a look at that, because that's where your money is being spent. And we'd certainly love to hear from you, okay? With that said, the council will be meeting in the back. Thank you, everybody, for joining us virtually and in person. And drive home safe, and go Bills.
That concludes the Zoom call this evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. And the next council meeting will be
What I'll do is
Tuesday, October 4th. Have a
Yeah.
great night.
let the mayor reach out to our.
Because I spoke 5